Hey, what's up? This is Sifu Cuddle, and for today's technique, we're going to be focusing on a single horizontal strike with the broadsword. Now, this is one, again, I like to use as training for my students before they learn some more of the basic techniques and then get into the broadsword form itself. Now, this one really embodies two very important components to a good broadsword technique, and that is pressure and slice. So keep these two components in mind while you're practicing, and you'll develop a really nice fluid technique and a very strong technique at that. Okay, so this is going to be a single technique. It is a horizontal slice across. You're going to rest it on the arm, bring it up over the head, and then we can repeat the same motion. Now this is something you can do, 1,000 times in a row, 5 times in a row, it doesn't really matter, but you can just keep looping the motion. And I like to single out this particular technique in the beginning because it embodies a couple of things that we look for in broadsword training and broadsword theory. Two of the main things that we want to look at are having pressure, that's chopping in with the blade, and slice. You're not going to have an effective cut with the broadsword unless you have both of these components. Chopping will get the job done, slicing will get the job done, but when you combine the two, you have a much stronger technique. Okay, now we're going to use this horizontal slice to practice both of those. Now it's very common for people to reach out and start flipping the blade right here so that it can rest on the forearm. And usually what you'll find is by that point you actually crash into the arm with the spine of the sword, and that's not what we want to do. If we follow the idea of slicing and not only chopping with the blade, we actually can bring this across the body before flipping it. When you flip the blade, that will release a lot of the energy from that circular swing, and then the blade will nice and easy rest against the forearm, barely touching it. It does take a lot of practice for this though, okay? So as I come across, I don't want to just reach out all the way and then let the blade hit my arm. I want to slice across as well as chop out until it passes my body, and then that's where the blade flip is going to be. So if you practice nice and slow, bringing it across, and then once the hand gets to the opposite side shoulder, this is where we flip the blade and then rest on the forearm, you have a very nice technique here. Now, using the back scratcher that we use for the warm-up, you're going to lift the blade up and around to that same side shoulder, repeat the technique. Lift it up, repeat the technique. Now, we will be working on some training from this position, so practice this one, get used to it, get very comfortable with it, and try not to crash that blade into your arm. When you get to that point and you don't have to think about controlling the blade, we can start thinking about some other things too, like refining the slice, refining the chop, and developing a nice cut. Okay, so there you go. The continuing motion will develop the arms so you get better for broadsword, but also develops fluidity that you'll need in the form itself. The training side of it is keeping those two components in mind of the chop itself and the slicing motion. Again, they work separately, but work even better together. So if you can implement that into your broadsword training and in fact your form, you're not only going to have a better form, but it'll be a more practical usage of the blade. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos and be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Till next time, this is Sifu Cuddle.
Bam! Fist with a forearm.